The process for creating a new piece of legislation in the United States dates back to the earliest concepts of the American government. Coming from an oppressive monarchy, the Founding Fathers' biggest fear was that the new government would abuse its power, much like the last one had. Looking back from a modern perspective at what happened after, say, the French Revolution, when they created their own system after a monarchy, it seems like Jefferson, Hamilton, and John Jay, as well as the other Founding Fathers, may have actually been onto something. How did these men propose we limit governmental authority? Well, it's easy. You separate all the significant powers of the nation between branches. Where did the city actually come from, though? Several English and French philosophers had toyed with the idea throughout the Enlightenment as they addressed questions of why and how we ought to govern ourselves best. The most famous and influential of these philosophers was likely the French Baron de Montesquieu, who wrote in 1748 in The Spirit of Laws that there can be, quote, no liberty where the legislative and executive powers are united in the same person, end quote. He was referring largely to Caesar and King Louis, both of whom famously declared, I am the state. Montesquieu's words echoed long after his time in the way that the American government passes legislation. The first step in creating a new law is for a representative in Congress to write the bill. Often these bills originate in the House of Representatives. For instance, in the Constitution, it's written that all bills for raising revenue shall originate in the House of Representatives, but that the Senate may propose or concur with amendments as on other bills, end quote. And the bill must be voted on and approved in the House before moving on to the Senate for a second round of debate and ratification, and finally passed to the desk of the President, who's the head of the executive branch. The President can sign the bill into law, or he can veto it, as explained here with the classic Schoolhouse Rock video, I'm Just a Bill.
Congress says you should be allowed, the President can still say no?
Yes, that's called a veto. If the President vetoes me, I have to go back to Congress and they vote on me again, and by that time you're sold.
By that time, it's very unlikely that you become a law. It's not easy to become a law, is it?
Once the bill is a law, its implications can be brought before district and federal courts to challenge its constitutionality. The final step of the process is for the 9 justices of the Supreme Court to determine whether or not the Constitution in combination with modern precedent would allow such a law to exist. If the bill meets all of these criteria, it becomes an accepted part of the American legal system. If any one part of the government decides that it's a bad bill, it dies, thus balancing the authority of all parts of government against one another.